We remember Carl Lewis, Ben Johnson, Flojo, and the U.S. boxing and basketball team. Go Sports presents On the Daily. Well, how you doing, VIP? Cole Johnson's on the mic on the Daily Sun Tap, presented by Cole Sports. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. And since you are here, like this video and comment below, because I really want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get any and every premiere of this channel. And if you want this shirt, the description box below has what you want. Now, of course, this is Thursday. This is Throwback Thursday. And we wanted to talk about the Olympiad. Well, not all of the Olympiad, one in particular. Yeah, one that happened and started on this date back in 1988, the Seoul Olympics. Yes, no, not Seoul as in the music. Seoul as in Seoul, Seoul, the capital of South Korea. And we will go back in time and the date, September 17th of the year 1988. And this was, I guess you could say, an auspicious Olympiad, the 24th of them. And the reason why is because boycotting had become a part of the lexicon of Olympiads. I mean, you had the U.S. boycott the Olympics that was held in Moscow in 1980, and then USSR, not Russia, but USSR or Soviet Union, they returned the favor when the U.S. hosted the Olympics in Los Angeles in 1984. So North Korea and Cuba for the 1988 version of the Olympics basically said, no thanks, we'll pass. However, this Olympiad had both Soviet Union and the United States going head to head for the first time since Montreal in 1976. And this was also the last time that the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc, so East Germany along with the Soviet Union, was or did field a team for the Olympics. Because by the time the Olympics went in Barcelona in 1992, the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc was of no more. In fact, the Berlin Wall came tumbling down in 1989, and that pretty much was it for East and West Germany. And the communist government was overthrown in 1991 in the Soviet Union, turning it into Russia, and that was the end of the USSR. However, Soviet Union, they showed up and they showed out. 55 gold medals and 132 medals overall. The best performance of a country ever in Olympic history. It has not been equaled yet. And not to be outdone, the East Germans collected over 100 medals in Seoul as well. In the U.S., they collected 93. So they weren't bad, but they just weren't they weren't up to Soviet good. At least in 1988, they weren't. However, there were moments that really stuck out. And let's go to boxing. Now, the super heavyweight ranks had Riddick Bowe challenge Lennox Lewis, who actually he's from Britain, but he represented Canada. And in the first round, Bowe did his thing, but in the second round, the judges was like, nah, Lewis is getting to you, Bowe. That's it. But that wasn't controversial compared to Roy Jones Jr. and Park Si-hoon. Yes, the gold medal, light middleweight boxing gold medal round or bout. Now, get this. So there was 86 punches. that Jones threw and landed. Park only landed 32. So it was no question that Jones was the smarter, the faster, the quicker, and the more active fighter all 3 rounds. It was no contest. You can go look for it yourself. No contest. It was and should have been a gold medal victory for Jones, lock, stock, and barrel. But the judges, there are 5, 3 of them favored the South Korean, and Park walked out with the gold medal. Now, to show you the 2 divergent roads these boxers took, after that bout, Park retired. He went to college and got a degree, and I believe now he's an engineer. Jones went onward after that silver medal, but should have been gold medal performance, and he became one of the most well-known boxers in the history of the sport. Now, let's go on to basketball. And this was interesting to me because the U.S. team breezed through the round-robin round, and they took care of business in the medal round, the first of the medal round. And in the semifinals, when they went up against Soviet Union, it was supposed to be a matchup where the supremacy of United States basketball, no matter what, would outshine anybody in any team. And of course, this was the first time that the 2 teams got on the court in basketball since 1972, when you had the controversial 51-50 loss that the U.S. took in the gold medal round against USSR. After 3 times, the ball had to be inbounded for the Soviet Union in Munich. Now, there was no controversy here. I mean, this team was led by John Thompson, and the stalwart players were center David Robinson, /center Danny Manning, guard Dan Marley, and guard Mitch Richmond. And they held their own, but the team led by Sarunas Marciulionis and Arvydas Sabonis, the USSR, they went on, they beat the U.S. 82-76 en route to a gold medal for them. The U.S. had to settle for bronze, and this is a landmark loss for the U.S. because it signaled 2 things. It signaled, 1, that the world caught up with the U.S. in terms of basketball skill, and that loss spawned the Dream Team. And the U.S. basketball team, except for 2004, has ruled the Olympics ever since. We'll talk about 2004 another time. But that wasn't even the landmark event of the Olympiad. No. Everybody and their mama was looking forward to the 100-meter dash men's variety. They were looking to see who was going to be the man, who was going to be the fastest person on the planet. Was it going to be Carl Lewis, who won the gold medal in 1984, was looking for another one here at Seoul? Or would it be Ben Johnson? Now, he came upon the scene in 1987. The Jamaican immigrant went to Canada, and he wowed everybody in the World Championships in 1987, wowed everybody in the World Championships in 1988. And in other meets, Lewis and Johnson would trade off victories between one another. Well, this was supposed to be the event, the 100-meter gold medal round, gold medal heat. And this was what was going to be the highlight of the Olympiad. And it definitely was the highlight for the Olympiad, but not the way you would think. Now, the race went to Ben Johnson. And he went to Ben Johnson by 2 lengths. And he impressed so much that he obliterated the world record time. He crossed the finish line 9.79 seconds. Blistering speed. And people were so quick to ask what was wrong with Carl Lewis. Why was he was so great in Los Angeles, but 4 years later, he simply was not even close to the best. Something had to be wrong. Well, After a drug test, it was discovered that Johnson was guilty of taking stanozolol, and that is an anabolic steroid. And because of that, he got stripped of his gold medal, and it was rewarded to Lewis, and not in a public setting. It was a private ceremony that Lewis received his second gold medal. Now, that was the big event of the Olympics in 1988, but probably the most inspirational person in the event, it would have to be the fashion plate herself, Florence Griffth-Joyner. And you have to understand, people who didn't follow track and field, we didn't know about this woman until late spring, early summer 1988. And we were wondering, this woman who would wear this one leotard on her leg, but was just blistering the whole field in the 100 or 200 meters. Who is this woman? I mean, she's something else. And she was. I mean, she proved that she was something else because she set a world record in the 100-meter race, and not the gold medal round. In the heat, in the qualifying heat, she set a world record of 10.49. And she, I think, crossed the finish line, I think 10.5 something in the gold medal relay. The 100 meters was impressive. She dazzled and shined in the 200 meter. That was her event. And man, when it was the gold medal heat, she obliterated the field. She shined, she glistened, she inspired, and she just simply wowed everybody. And it was a wonderful moment. She obliterated the world record. 21:34 is the time that she crossed the finish line with. And it was a beautiful sight seeing her get on two knees and just pray to God and say thank you and give him praise and glory. It was a wonderful, wonderful moment. And you saw her husband, Al, embrace her. And she also claimed the silver in the 4x400 meter relay and gold in the 4x100 meter relay. FloJo just stood out. I mean, her fashion stood out, her femininity stood out, her excellence, of course, stood out at the most. And her fashion sense bleeded into the NBA as the Pacers in the mid-90s drafted and took one of her designs with her uniforms. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1998, but many of her records still stand to this day. FloJo was simply put a woman ahead of her time. Now, we saw many, many future stars hit the world stage in Seoul and began there. Such stars such as Arvina Sabonis, Dale Robinson, Roy Jones Jr., Riddick Bowe. Many of those names became household names in the 90s, but they all had their start on the grandest stage of them all in any sporting event that you can name, the 1988 Olympics in Seoul. Now, give me what you think. What was a moment in 1988's Olympiad which captured your interest and took your imagination that I didn't mention? Like this video, comment below because I really want to hear what you have to say about that. And give me that moment. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get any and every premiere of On the Daily presented by Cole Sports. Well, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you. I am Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the Visual and on the Daily.